Hello and welcome to another video from Dale Farm. So this update is what's been happening with the sheep and lambs over the past few weeks. So there's been all sorts to do: trimming the tails, footbathing, looking at lame ewes and lambs, worming and mineral drenching, and spraying with Crovect. So there's been a lot to get on with, and this video is just going to show you how we did it. It's a good opportunity to see how the lambs have grown since lambing time, as now the focus really turns on keeping them healthy and strong and growing well.
So we've got lambs in here, separate for the first time, ewes in here. So one of the jobs we're doing today is tail trimming. So we've got a pen on. We're trimming out the tails. We've just wormed this group here, and then lastly they're getting a spray of Crovect to help prevent any fly strike early in the season.
I think most people know this task as dagging. I was always told by Dad it was called belting, so I guess maybe it's a Derbyshire thing, I'm not sure. What matters is the job gets done and the tails are cleaned up. Also use this as an opportunity to check all the ewes' udders for signs of mastitis.
And Nick is using the Crovect. Put your glasses on. So that is roughly half the ewes done.
It's a very noisy affair because the ewes and lambs are constantly calling to one another until they go back out in the field and they can find each other, and eventually they'll quieten down. I've still got the ewes divided into two groups, so I've got predominantly triplets and late lambs, which is this group, and then the twins and singles in the other group.
So it's time to start on the second group. So mostly clean bums, but just a few dirty bums.
Yeah.
So we have found a few cases where there are maggots just starting on the ewes' tails. So noisy today, but we got it in time, so that is good. This is the last pen of the day. Can't wait to be done. It's a tough day for the old back. Lots of bending over, trimming out the ewes' tails. Just a job that needs to be done, and it needs to be done now because we found a few just with maggots starting, and it's a really good feeling to have got all those very dirty tails cleaned up, and more dirty tails I would say than maybe on a previous year. So they look so much better, and that is a weight off my mind. This is the last pen. It's been a very noisy afternoon. We're all done. We're ready to go back out to the field. I know the ewes will be ready. It's been a long day.
A little recap of what we did on this day. So all the ewes had their tails trimmed out. We looked at lame ewes. We sprayed the ewes with Crovect to prevent against fly strike. We wormed the ewes, and we wormed and mineral drenched the lambs. One of the things that we did notice from looking at the lambs moving is that the number of the lambs were also lame. So the plan is get them back in a couple of days and focus solely on treating lame lambs.
And now I get to enjoy looking at all those clean tails.
There's some lovely grass in this field, but the ewes and lambs are not allowed to stay in here because the test results that we had done at the vet showed that it was lead poisoning. There are old lead mines in this field. So today we're getting the sheep and lambs in with the focus on lame lambs, and we found that quite a lot of lambs in this group had scald, which is a bit like athlete's foot, I guess. And so we sprayed the lambs' feet with blue spray, and I realised that we probably needed to do a foot bath for the ewes and lambs, something that we do normally at this time of year. And we found that a sort of standing foot bath where they soak for about 20 to 30 minutes is the most effective.
So today's Wednesday, the 28th of May, and it's a very rainy day, absolutely chucking it down again. But anyway, we've got something to show you. We have a sexy new homemade foot bath. Which is Nick's vision to just use some wood to make like a tray frame, and then we're still using the bell tent bases that are no longer required, and lay it in with the carpet, with the golden hoof. So today is going to be a foot bathing and vaccine day for the sheep and lambs. So we're going to crack on.
So the plan is to get a decent pen together in the standing foot bath, and they stand there for about half an hour, and that's how the golden hoof stuff works. It just kind of soaks in, but it does take time. And then once they've done the soak, we will then vaccinate the lambs while the next group soaks in the foot bath. And we are using a combination of Ovivac P vaccine and Heptavac because we couldn't get hold of all the Ovivac that we needed. But this is the time of year when we need to vaccinate the lambs, or at least it seems like a wise idea to vaccinate the lambs to try and prevent any of them from dying from things that they can pick up from the pasture. It seems that there are lots of different reasons why lambs can die, so we have to try and do our best to keep them alive. Really happy with the new foot bath pen. It meant that we could get loads of lambs done in one go, and about 17 ewes fit into one foot bath pen. So as we've got 90 odd ewes to get through, it just helps to be able to do a few more at a time. So we're currently just trying to move the lambs out of the way because they're quite noisy all around the pen. Immediately after the foot bath, they can be a bit sore on their feet, but the overall health of the hooves tends to improve after foot bathing, so I think it's worth it. It is the loudest day working with the sheep and lambs, and when you're doing it for hours you can hardly hear yourself think, and it drives me almost to the point of insanity, and Nick as well, and almost seems like it'd be better if you could just wear ear defenders, but we need to communicate.
Go away and give me some peace and quiet.
This is the second half, so we're still working in the two batches, and managed to time our bringing of the ewes in with a very heavy rain shower.
They are so loud. Anyway, this is the second group, which is predominantly twins, and we had them in the other day. There's quite a lot of scold in this group, so hopefully the foot bath will help with that. And then I think we've got about 10 or 15 lambs in this group left to vaccinate. These have just gone in the foot bath. And these nice green lambs have just come out. Yeah, they've been done in bloom, what it's called.
It's always a bit disappointing to see the lambs come out looking so mucky, and also quite a few limping in this group, but hopefully in the long run they'll improve as a result of today. A little recap. So what we did was we put all the ewes and lambs in batches into a standing foot bath for 20 to 30 minutes, and then we vaccinated all of the lambs now that they are mostly 4 to 6 weeks old. And then straight on to the next concern. Whilst most of the lambs look all right, quite healthy, there are a percentage with really dirty tails despite being wormed.
We did a poo sample at the vet 2 weeks ago prior to worming. Then we wormed, given it 2 weeks, and now I've retested today because some of the lambs are scouring really bad. And the advice was that the worm count was now 0, so that's good. But coccidiosis was really high. One of the lambs' samples came back at 6,000. So we are getting them all in on this rainy afternoon, and well, half the lambs, and we're going to do half of them today and then half of them another day. And the stuff that we're using is called dicoxin, and it's pretty expensive. So this bottle's cost us 200 quid. There will be some left over, but we may need to redose, so it could all get used. But yeah, it just feels like non-stop expenses, and obviously it's all at the outlay stage. We're just outlaying all the time, our money, to try and keep these lambs going. I just kind of want them to be sold and recoup some of the investment. I suspected that it was going to be coccidiosis when I sent off the sample, so it was no surprise, but it's good to get confirmation from the vet, because then at least you know that you're working, I guess, with a degree of accuracy. And hopefully that means that we can get to the bottom of it, because the ones that were scouring were looking quite poor, and it will stop the lambs from growing. So it will be good to get on top of that, because we want them to grow well. We are going in size order, so we've weighed a few lambs, and we're doing the heaviest first.
And these are the triplets and the late-born lambs and twins, and the heaviest we had was 23 kilos, right down to 9 or 10 kilos. So this is the second batch. This is mostly lambs that are twins or singles. And there's a lame lamb at the front. We looked at that, and we've given her some antibiotics because she looked like she had a bit of swelling in the joint. But on the whole, the group that had been very lame are looking a lot better on their feet. So I actually felt quite encouraged about that, because it's a bit disheartening when you're just going from problem to problem to problem. I guess that's farming for you. It doesn't feel like it's been an easy year. And we had a weigh-in of these lambs as well. We weighed a bigger one and a medium-sized one and a smaller one to get an idea. And we had from 20 kilos right the way up to 34 kilos was the heaviest that we weighed today. today was probably the first day that I actually felt quite happy with how the lambs are looking, quite pleased. And this is on the 8th of June. So things finally seem to be going a little bit better after quite a long, difficult spell with the sheep. I definitely haven't really felt like it's been very enjoyable, as I said earlier this time. But we are getting there, we're getting through. And this field is one that we have topped this week. We've been doing some topping, so the fields are looking a lot smarter. So feeling quite positive that quite a few jobs have been ticked off with the sheep and lambs. And the next thing will be shearing, which hopefully should be in the next few weeks. So thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.